Hello and welcome to the LFS Spring Welcome Session. This is the APBI deep dive session where we'll be delving deeper into what is applied biology within the LFS Faculty of Land and Food Systems program at UBC. I am your presenter for today, your host for today. My name is Yolanda, and joined with me, we have our guest speaker, Professor Kachan Singh. He's an assistant professor in plant science. And we also have Megan Locke, our student guest speaker, who's just completed her degree. Looking forward to graduation. You'll hear more from her today. We also have alumni guest speakers, alumni who have completed the program. We have Erin Ryan and Dr. Alex Boo will be joining us a bit later into the session. So during the session, we have a platform Slido that we'll be using for submitting questions. We will not be using the chat function on Zoom, so we'll be using Slido. So if you could go to www.slido.com and insert hashtag APBI, you're able to submit your questions anonymously, and you can also upvote like questions that are submitted that you feel like should be answered. If then you could put that into the chat, www.slido.com, and insert hashtag APBI. If you have any technical difficulties, you can enter them into the chat and then we'll try to help you with that. Okay, so today we'll be going through a program and major overview, and we'll also have Professor Gachan Singh speak and then share the student experiences and career paths and outcomes. And hopefully by the end of this session, you'll be more excited about coming in to study APBI within LFS. So before I proceed, congratulations on being admitted. This is an exciting time. Some of you may be have an idea what applied biology is, and some of you might be like, "Oh, I just applied. I'm not really sure what applied biology is exactly." But so applied biology is we focus on real world application, like practical application of like biology, whether it's be theories or different aspects of biology or life sciences to the management of like soil, plants, animals, and food production. We address like real world problems through experiential learning opportunities, and you will get a more idea of what that means exactly as we proceed on with this with our session today. We integrate within applied biology, integrate technical knowledge with sustainability and ethics, and it's like critical thinking, practical involvement, and systems approach to everything. So it really integrates to everything towards like grounded within in sciences and biology to solving real world problems. So within at UBC in the Faculty of Land and Food Systems, we have two majors within the APBI program. There's Applied Animal Biology and Sustainable Agriculture and Environment. Within Applied Animal Biology, it focuses more on animals, such as animal welfare or like hands-on experiences or with animals, like conservation topics or physiology topics. You really have the platform to design your degree within APBI towards what you're interested in within, like if it's towards like animal welfare or animal physiology. There's so many topics around animal biology. And within sustainable agriculture and environment, it's as it states towards like our soils, our farming, agriculture, and there's so many different aspects towards that. And Professor Kachan Singh will describe more into give you an idea of what sustainable agriculture and environment is like. In the first session we had on Monday, the LFS Welcomes You session, they delved deeper into like the APBI, the structure, and how the classes are broken down like over the years as you proceed And that recording will be available for you to watch in the upcoming weeks if you haven't attended. But today's session, we're focusing on fleshing that out and like really showing the experiential learning like opportunities within those majors. So before we proceed to Professor Gachan, I would and please enter into the chat what major you are interested in between applied animal biology and sustainable agriculture and environment. Let's see. Applied animal bio. Amazing. I also majored in applied animal bio. Yay! I see sustainable agriculture. So we have a quite a good spread over like both majors, which I love. They're both amazing, which is amazing. I'm happy to see that there is an interest overlapping like over like uh, both programs. Thank you for entering that into the chat. So without much further ado, I would like to invite Professor Kachan Singh Bra to share a bit about his the classes he teach and the research that he has done. Um, yeah, Professor.
Thank you, Yolanda, and other LFS ambassadors and the team for inviting me to this event. My name is Gurcharan Singh Brad. Like Yolanda mentioned, I am a faculty, still relatively new faculty. I joined LFS in January 2020. So I just completed my 3 years. I'm in the plant science program of the faculty. Um, and within LFS, I'm affiliated with applied biology. We don't really have program, but applied biology departments, but applied biology program. And in applied biology, there are three different units: animal welfare, plant science, and soil science. Sustainable agriculture and environment covers plant science and soil science. Other than myself, we have several other plant science faculty members in LFS and also in soil science. My research is mainly focused on plant pathology, plant breeding, plant genetics, and in terms of plant, it's mainly cereals, wheat and barley, but we have expertise to help with the disease problems in other crops as well. In terms of wheat and barley, our overarching goal is to strengthen the immune system of wheat and barley. We work very closely with other wheat and barley researchers in Canada, uh, uh, and we help them breed resistant varieties for wheat and barley growers in Canada. And some of our research has also applications beyond Canada. This slide that Yolanda is showing shows just one example of many different projects we are working on. So in this slide, you are seeing wheat plants with yellow leaves, with those yellow bright pustules. Those are sick plants infected with the stripe rust disease. It's also called yellow rust because of yellow color of the fungal spores that you see in one of the slides, number E, and then you see B zoomed slide with the leaves infected with this fungus. Later in the season, these spores are turned into black teleospores. These Eppendorf tubes show the fungal spores that can infect the crop, reduce photosynthetic efficiency of the crop plants, and affect the yield and quality of these important cereal crops. This is just one of the diseases we work on. So you can call us, my research is more like training grad students and making them plant doctors. So if you will be taking a sustainable agriculture and environment major in applied biology, most likely you will end up taking introductory plant pathology class, which is offered in third year. And in that class, I mainly teach basic principles of plant pathology, and also host pathogen interaction principles, and we also cover some of the most important diseases of crops, cereal crops, oilseed crops, pulse crops, cash crops like berry crops in Canada, and what are the best ways to manage these diseases. Other than plant pathology, I teach a fourth year course on applied statistics. That course is different from other statistics courses offered on a UBC campus in a way that it's more applied. It gives you an idea about experimental designs we use in agricultural sciences, plant sciences, and how we can, design our experiments if we want to, and go in research in plant and soil science. And then I also teach a, a graduate course which won't really be relevant to this group, but I also teach advanced plant breeding class that I'm teaching for the first time in this coming summer term in 2 weeks. Other than my research program, my other colleagues in plant science, they work on plant ecology, insect plant interaction in plant insect ecology and evolution lab. Then we have a plant physiologist colleague who works on plant water relationships and response of plants under drought conditions. And then we also have Dr. Risa Sargent studying pollination biology in crop plants or plants relevant to lower mainland of British Columbia. And we also have several adjunct faculty members and research scientists from Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada who are affiliated with the Applied Biology or Plant Science program. They are not necessarily involved in teaching, but they supervise or co-supervise the students and are involved in several research areas within plant and soil science. I think that's mainly it. I'm located in the HR Macmillan building on campus, and if any one of you wants to, to talk more about my research, then we can have a chat. Yolanda, I'm not sure if you want me to talk about something else.
Thank you so much. For now, I think this you really captured amazing your research and the teachers the classes that you teach. But I encourage all our students that we have here to submit any questions that you have for Professor Kachan, and then we will talk more in the Q&A section that we will have like afterwards. So if you have any questions that if there's something that you found interesting in what he has talked about, like a plant doctor or plant pathology, all those like amazing, all the research, the pictures that you see on this slide, please.
I just want to mention one thing that I forgot is I see a lot of students mention they want to go for applied animal biology, and probably a good number of these students will end up doing veterinary medicine. And I tell these students who are interested in veterinary medicine or even human medicine that plant pathology or studying about plant diseases is really useful if they want to study veterinary medicine or human medicine, because in animals and humans a lot of pathogens are actually opportunistic pathogens, whereas in plants the pathogens are real pathogens. So if you want to study how pathogens interact with their host and affect their host, then plant pathology is really useful.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing for sharing that. So as you can see with like sustainable agriculture and environment, you will apply your thinking to a range of environmental challenges, including like sustainable crop production, food security, biodiversity, soil and water resources. Like there's so many important topics that and fields that are needed in the world, like as I've mentioned earlier, addressing real world problems. And so you can like really with the guidance of like professors and your interests and our APBI program coordinator, you can like really design your program. If you're interested in sustainable agriculture and environment, just design it towards what you're interested in. So moving on, there's also a wide range of like environmental or involvement opportunities within the program. As we've mentioned, the hands-on experience. Hands-on experience is very important is within the program because, as I mentioned, applied biology is like practical application. So you really need that hands-on experiences. There are volunteer opportunities embedded within our programs. For example, we have the UBC farm, which is located on campus. So you have the opportunity to go on campus and like volunteer in the field or like in research that is done, whether it be soil sampling or like growing crops or like insect collection and all those like wonderful like opportunities that are within the at the farm where you get to study and get practical skills on the land. We also have the Dairy Research Center located in Agassiz, where there are dairy animals where you can get to go there and like also witness like husbandry and like research animal behavior and like really get that hands-on experience with that. There's also a wide range of opportunities, not just pertaining to like research opportunities and volunteering opportunities, but you also can go on exchange. I have a colleague of mine who is on exchange right now in New Zealand, I believe, who's also like an applied biology majoring in applied animal biology. So you get to have that international experience of what applied biology is like in other centers around the world. So you can also get that opportunities. Co-op pertains to having to work and this is something that you apply to I believe after your second year you can apply to have co-op opportunities, that is a working opportunities where you apply for example to work at the SBCA or work at the governmental organization or non-governmental organization and you get to have that experience and but that it's a program that is embedded within like UBC where you can also get to like extend your degree and have that like work experience within your university career. The awesome thing is within LFS and within the APBI program we have something called the practicum. So for this similar to co-op but you wouldn't have to like extend your degree. You can like do a practicum within a semester of your study. So a practicum can be at the UBC farm or at the UBC dairy center where you get credits for working and getting experience with application of what you would have studied. So this is just a brief overview of like some involvement opportunities that are within our program. I will now invite Megan to talk more about her journey as now a senior APBI student and some of the amazing involvement opportunities that she has been able to get involved in within her degree within UBC.
Thanks, Yolanda. So I just want to say again, hi, everyone, and welcome. I hope you enjoy this session and get to learn a little bit more about this program. So my name's Megan, my pronouns are she, her, and my hometown is in Vancouver. And as Yolanda mentioned, it's really a full circle moment because I just yesterday finished my 5th year in applied animal biology, and I'm also minoring in psych, which is in the Faculty of Arts. So I actually started in science and I transferred to LFS at the end of my 1st year. And I just felt really drawn to this tight-knit LFS community and I saw how flexible that this major is. So after a close friend encouraged me to transfer, I decided to do that and it's one of the best decisions that I've made. So I found that I love animal welfare, behavior, and sheltering, and I've been able to take courses in all of these subjects. So outside of school, I've actually taken on 2 LFS leadership roles in 2 main areas between 2020 and 2022. So the first being the LFS Undergraduate Society, or LFS US, where I was first the APBI program representative, and then I became the VP engagement. So you can see in the bottom picture there's my fellow executive team. So I really encourage getting involved with the LFS US because it's a great way to develop leadership and organizational skills. And I also got to meet fellow students outside of this classroom setting. So the second type of role I was in was helping with orientations, as you can see in the picture on the top, which is like a lower time commitment. So I was a regular orientation leader twice, and then a senior orientation leader again in another year. So as an introvert, all of these roles really helped me gain more confidence to just put myself out there, and I made connections and friends in this community. And I would say that it's really enriched my whole university experience. So this year, though, I actually have a part-time job, part of the UBC Work Learn program. So it's just like 10 hours a week. So I'm the Animal Welfare Program's Communications and Media Assistant. And this year I've pivoted to research. So if research is something that you're curious about, LFS makes it really, really accessible to get into. So my idea of research in first year was just maybe like looking at cells, but at LFS, it's all of that and more. So I actually participated in the free, very like low time commitment LFS mentorship program for the past 2 years. And I want to give it a bit of a shout out because first I was actually paired up with Aaron Ryan, who's here today, as one of my mentors. And I was also paired up with a graduate student who I got to be a research assistant for. So one of her projects this past year is on the experiences of pet rehoming. And I think that's super cool because it's actually quite centered in social science research. So I started out by taking a course on research methods, and that was just like a lower time commitment. And then I decided to continue through with it in this second term through an experiential course called a directed studies. So like Yolanda mentioned, it's like a practicum, but for research. You still get course credit for it, but it's really flexible and you don't have like the typical course outline or assignments, and it's really dependent on whatever the project is. So through this course, I ended up making an academic poster, an oral presentation, and I just handed in my final paper. And it's great because you can see in the picture on the right, I actually had an opportunity to present in 2 conferences this year. As you can see, LFS, just being in LFS for the past 4 years has given me a wealth of opportunities for academic, career, and personal growth. And all I had to do was just really take that first step, and I ended up on an amazing journey. So to end off, in the end, just feel free to ask me about applied animal biology, psychology, leadership. I didn't talk about clubs, but yeah, you can ask me about that, and research, of course.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Megan, for sharing your experiences. As you can see, as an LFS student, there it's not just the experiences that you get in within embedded in your program, but you can also get like amazing student engagement opportunities, like Megan has mentioned, and like LFS undergraduate societies, and you get to socialize and meet other students, and really helps you build that rich experience, undergraduate experience. So as Megan has mentioned, being involved in research and within and being like the animal welfare program assistants, like all the communication as within communication, that opportunities really help in really developing those like career ready skills that you need and like proceeding forward after your degree. I'll just highlight now that applied animal biology is really a major that you will help to learn like animal physiology, animal and human interactions. Megan mentioned her research in animal rehoming. That is another aspect that you might be interested in, that you can get to learn what that means in terms of like animal welfare and animal physiology. It's really applying those issues in the field experiences, like pertaining to and in using and building your research skills, which can help you pursue further in like whether in like graduate studies or going to veterinary medicine or any other fields that you would want to pursue in the future. So at this point, I think I gave a brief hint on like what you would like to do after you study the program, right? So at this moment, what are you interested? If you have no idea, that's okay. But if you know, what are you interested in doing after your degree? And if it's many interests, it's okay. You can like put them all in the chat. Ooh, okay, I'm just looking for my chat function. Yes, vet medicine. Vet medicine is work in an aquarium. Amazing. We have an aquarium right in Vancouver where like students also go and like volunteer and like also have like practicum experiences that experiential learning opportunities through LFS there. Medicine, amazing. Medicine, medicine is popular. Yeah, I don't think any more answers are coming in, but that is not sure yet exactly. I love that answer. Coming into this program will really help you hopefully find something that you would want to pursue as a career pathway. So without further much ado, I would like to invite, we have alumni here. We have gone through the program, and young professionals who are like now working, and they can like talk you through about like their experiences and now how the program really helped them land their jobs right now, or like figure out their pathway in careers. So Erin.
Hello, and I'm apparently joined by my co-host Grubber, who has not been on me all day, and now is the time. She's 14, in case anybody's curious. But I'm just so honored to be here today and talking about you, because I remember very clearly being in about your shoes, because I actually did my first year at the University of Victoria and I transferred to UBC afterwards. So it's a long and sad story, but basically what happened was UBC's admission process was a little bit later compared to the admission offer that I received from Victoria. So I had accepted an offer in Victoria in October of my grade 12 year, and then my offer of admission to UBC came in April. And in my head, I went, well, I've already committed. I already paid I think it was a $300 deposit. And at that time, for me, that was a lot of money, and that meant a lot. But the reality was the $300 is nothing compared to the year I spent away, not really enjoying what I was taking, not really enjoying where I was. I was separated from a lot of my family members, and I was having a hard time, even taking care of a cat, a brand new baby cat as a first year student. So that gives you an idea of how long it's been since I've been in first year. So I think it's really important that you're considering all of these options and following your heart. And I knew that as soon as I learned about the applied biology program, I felt like I knew I'd made a mistake in going to UVic and accepting an offer, because this is really where I was meant to be. And I'm grateful for that experience, but I'm also grateful to know I ended up exactly where I was meant to be. And I'm also grateful that so many of the connections that I've made in this program have kept coming back. They've really helped me along. As Megan mentioned, I've been part of the Tri-Mentoring program for several years as a mentor, because I never had the chance to do it when I was a student. And I've met amazing people like Megan, who we still get to work together in our professional lives. Dr. Boo and I, who will be speaking next, actually did our undergrad at the same time. So I'm glad that you get to see how two people in the same class ended up on different career paths. And I think, like a lot of you, and I mean this to be encouraging, not the opposite, is that I thought I wanted to be a veterinarian when I grew up, because as a kid who loved animals and cared so deeply for them, I kind of thought that was my only option. And I'm really glad that that's not the case, because I really found my calling
in really my third and fourth year of the applied biology program with animal welfare. And I wanted to use my knowledge and some of my communication skills to try and help solve kind of big picture problems that animals were facing. So I was lucky enough to volunteer with the BCSPCA in my last year. And at the same time, I was working for a communications company. So I was doing a lot of writing and a lot of reports, a lot of stakeholder engagement. And when an opportunity came up with the BCSPCA looking for someone to do pretty well exactly that, I was very lucky that the person I volunteered with was hiring for that position. So I'm so grateful that it's been there, because it's now been 8.5 years I've been in that role. And really what I do is I focus exclusively on wildlife welfare, although there's a lot of overlap between different species. Some of the problems I deal with are issues of humane pest control. You know, when people have raccoons in their attic, or skunks in a shed, or squirrels in a chimney. I deal with questions about conservation initiatives. BC is hosting some pretty controversial wildlife control at the moment, culling wolves in an effort to save caribou. I deal with wildlife rehabilitation, which may interest some of you, because there is a shortage of people that are experienced in that field. So this is actually taking care of wild animals, and the goal of trying to release them back to their natural habitat, which becomes a conservation issue as well. And I recently completed my master's in the applied biology program in 2021, and that was really focused on humane pest control. So I think where the applied biology really comes in is I had spent 5 years working with the BCSPCA, communicating on different humane wildlife issues. And I really felt like I didn't have a good answer when it came to questions about humane control for mice and rats. I kind of felt like I was helping people choose between the least worst options. And what that meant is I came back from my master's with a really clear question that I wanted to ask, and a really clear path forward for when I was done my master's was now I get to apply that information in the work that I was already doing. So I was very grateful to be working part-time throughout my master's with the SPCA, and I've been back full-time since. So if you're looking for examples of things you can do, it doesn't have to be in clinic. The thing I have to tell my grandma is that I am a wildlife biologist, but I work at a desk. And if you are ever on the BCSPCA's website and you see any content about wildlife, I definitely wrote it. Me, right here. It's only me. So if you see an email, if you see a petition calling for changes to wild animal laws, you can bet that I was behind that. And we need more people like you. I can also say from experience in my field that I need more animal welfare scientists and advocates and people who care about wildlife and other animals. I need you in positions of leadership. I need you in government. I need you on city councils. I need you on strata councils. I need you in the federal government. I need you in research facilities. There's so many places you can go, and I hope that you really value this program as much as I did. I had such a joy really finishing this program and meeting all the people that I've met. And of course, I've been graduated for nearly 10 years now, and they keep bringing me back, and I keep saying yes because I love it so, so much. So if you have any questions about courses, practicums, about wildlife rehabilitation, about research, I'm happy to answer any of those and look forward to talking with you more after. And Grubber will be asleep for the duration, apparently.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Erin. Your experiences are so amazing, and it's so great to see that all the impact that you make in like wildlife, animal welfare, and it's I'm always so amazed by all the work that you do. So Erin is a specialist with like wild animal welfare currently with the busy SPCA science and policy team. So you can really see there's so many things that you can do when working with animals. There's also the science and policy side and all the different fields that Erin has mentioned. Now I'd like to call on Dr. Boo. Um, Yes, Dr. Wu is here. Amazing. To share more about his experiences now practicing veterinarian. We could see in the chat so many people were interested in taking vet medicine after doing this program. So I think it would be really amazing to also hear from someone who was also in your shoes a couple of years ago and like taking on the APBI program and proceeding on to like vet medicine. Dr. Boo.
Yeah, thanks for the introduction, Yolanda. So yeah, as the slideshow mentioned, I am a veterinarian. I work in the Lower Mainland. I also do teach at UBC as well. I teach in a shelter welfare and diseases course. So for those of you who are interested in veterinary medicine, definitely a career worth pursuing. In terms of what degree it involves pursuing, usually students will pursue a undergraduate degree first. It does require a minimum of two years of an undergraduate program before you apply to a veterinary medicine program. And unfortunately, if any of you have been able to do some research, UBC doesn't have a veterinary medicine program. So that means that you need to apply to a different school. There's a couple in Canada that I'm more than happy to talk about if there are questions, but usually you would do at least 2 years of an undergraduate degree program. But what I wanted to really kind of highlight and mention today is I think a lot of us, Megan, Erin, Gertjan, we all talked about the really the undergraduate experience that LFS is able to provide you. And really it's an experience having come from the Faculty of Science in my first year. It's an experience that really is unparalleled in a lot of other universities and colleges across Canada. And I say that because the diversity that you get and the education that you have research experts from all across the field, whether that's soil science, whether that's animal biology, whether that's global resource systems, which is now called a different major. You really get experts in the field that can just share their experiences with you and really give you a real world sense of what it is like being a professional in one of these fields. And so having that, being in a big university, especially when you start in your first year, it's easy to be drowned out. We know that UBC now has tens and tens of thousands of students entering per year. And so that's a lot of people. And so it's really easy to lose yourself, especially in first year. We know that LFS is a rapidly expanding faculty as well. So as you transition into university, it's really important to find a sense of identity. So, joining clubs with diverse interests that you might have, whether that's a sports club, whether that's intramurals, whether that's, maybe it's a cultural club, or maybe you have a passion for gaming, for example, and you want to join the gaming club. So these are all very valid, I think, experiences that I think you've come to UBC to take a part in, and I would highly recommend that. And so by having different sorts of experiences and having different hobbies, that really builds resilience. And I think resilience is really important in such a high impact and a highly academic program, because then we can, shift to other things. So let's say in undergrad, for example, I really didn't like physics. And I learned in undergrad that physics was just not my way to go and not my interest. And so then I kind of relied on other sorts of courses where I was more interested in. And so I got a little bit more feedback from those. So yeah, I said in the applied animal biology program, I was able to work really closely with a lot of mentors just like Aaron and Ryan. So those really that are at the forefront of research. So people in research, whether you're interested or not, they are the people that are really pushing boundaries. So they're pioneers in science. And if you're wanting to change the world and making significant differences to both animals and people's lives, then definitely research is an important part of any academic institution. Whether that's in Canada or whether that's elsewhere around the world. And so, seeing what these new researchers are doing and what the new literature is saying can really help you make a difference in this world. And so what I do on a day-to-day basis, so I'm not a researcher, so I'm a veterinarian. So usually I work in an animal clinic. So I see multiple patients per day, usually dogs and cats, as well as some guinea pigs and some small furries, so rabbits and hamsters as well. You'll see my dog on the bottom. He's a duck-tolling retriever. He's about 3 now. His name's Rupert. And then I have a couple of cat patients as well in that other picture there that I really enjoy working with all the time. So for me as a veterinarian, I understand that, when you're out of high school, there's only so many options that you are introduced to in terms of careers, and that's okay. It's university is all about finding yourself and finding which career opportunities work best with you. And so, with that, that's what the whole point of exposure is. So we'll be, you'll be exposed to different courses and different professors within those courses, different field trips, and even practicum opportunities as well. So those of you who are interested in, aquarium or zoos, there's actually a couple of my classmates who have gone on to work in zoos. There is a practicum that's available at the Marine Mammal Rescue, which is a center that we UBC work closely with, so that's also an option as well. So really just, I don't want to bog you down to the details, but I just wanted to let you know that to, keep your mind open and keep your options open as well. And LFS and specifically applied biology, regardless whether that's soil science or animal biology, will be able to provide you that springboard in a first name basis small class kind of a situation, so that will really enhance your learning and really be able to provide practical knowledge that you can apply in the real world.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences. I actually took a class with Dr. Alex Bu, his class, which really helps you to that having that opportunity to have like a veterinarian, someone who's practicing as a veterinarian, also teach you a class which is very interesting and practical, and seeing all the how firsthand how the practical application of animal biology and animal welfare, and how that the different channels that can lead you in your future. So if you had Erin speak about her opportunities and experiences that she has had, and Dr. Alex Bu sharing on his experiences too. So I hope if you have any questions, please submit to slido.com if you have specific questions for Dr. Alex Bu, Erin, Professor Katran. Please submit them to Slido. So before we move on to the Q&A session, these are important dates and upcoming sessions that are important. So tomorrow we are having a session, careers in LFS, with our career strategist Rob Kim. Can really talk about how taking the different programs within, including APBI, and how you can design your career, or getting those career learning opportunities within that embedded within LFS. So coming to the session would really help you in figuring it out, what exactly can I do? I have this interest in animal physiology and animal welfare and everything. So coming to the session will really give you an idea of how our career strategies can really help you in honing on to your interest and finding career paths. Accept your offer of admissions before the deadlines. I think offers of admissions are rolling. Some of you have already received those. Please accept before the deadline. And then from mid-May, we have LFS Roots. So if you have questions about like, well, how do I register for classes? How does course registration go? How is everything? The LFS Roots is a program that is within designed for like undergraduate students before they start, right before you come to UBC, that will help you really prepare you to start your program. Application deadline for Land 1. Yesterday we had the Land 1 session. The deadline is May 15, and then June 20 to 22, you register for your courses, and that is the date range is great because you start LFS Roots in mid-May, where it will prepare you for course registration. And then August, September, orientation. You come to UBC and you really experience, you get to see Macmillan Building or like Roots on the Roof, all the things that we have mentioned throughout the weeks in person. So now before we proceed to the Q&A question, I'll just say to stay in touch with us, you can email lfs.advising@ubc.ca to speak to an academic advisor with any questions. If you want to speak to students or learn more about like student experiences or have any questions for student specific, you can email LFS ambassadors at lfs.ambassador@ubc.ca. We also have Instagram handles or Instagram newsletters. LFS newsletters is our newsletter, so you can get updates of what is happening within LFS or within the different programs or like students' involvement and all those opportunities at LFS newsletters. And we also have a faculty Twitter and Instagram at UBC LFS. And we also have the website www.landfood.ubc.ca. So please, you can use all this platform to get in touch with the Faculty of Land and Food Systems, and we can chat and help you through